When news broke of the train derailment in Lac-Mégantic, one responder was widely quoted saying it looked like the town was cut by a knife. Well, Lac-Mégantic is still bleeding. For those who were close enough to hear the screeching locomotives and see the fires that swallowed their town, this is more than a tragic mystery, it's a waking nightmare. The CBC's Ioanna Roumeliotis spoke to residents who've lost loved ones to the disaster, and tonight she brings us their stories.
The railway of death. It's what people here call it. A stretch of track where a blazing train hurtled into a town, blackening its core and the lives of so many people in it. Jean and Colette Boulet seem shrunken by the weight of it all. It's been excruciating, they say. The slow, steady drain of hope. It's difficult, he says, even to believe it. I can't describe how I'm feeling.
On n'a pas de mots pour décrire la situation.
We don't have the words, she says.
On espère qu'ils vont retrouver le corps.
We can only hope to find some measure of peace. The day investigators came for a DNA sample of their son, the Boulets say they knew in their hearts their son Yves was gone.
Oh, c'est de savoir qu'on ne verra plus.
We know we're never going to see him again, he says. He was our only child. Our family has been cut up, torn apart. We have to try to go on, she says. Just try, one day at a time. We know we're not the only ones. Police have warned families, brace yourselves. There are no signs of life here. Only a painstaking search for remains. Of the dozens still unaccounted for, who left behind parents, spouses, children, and friends. On a quiet stretch, an empty house that also housed a daycare. No one is coming back here. Lucie Vadnais lived here alone. Across the road, Gaétan Filion can't bury the tears that keep welling up. Vadnais took care of his nephew's children. She was a close friend. So were two others who haven't come home either.
C'était une fille très gentille. Très gentille, c'était la bonté du jour.
She was very nice, he says. Very kind.
On a les larmes proches.
I'm sorry, he says. The tears are always so close. They were all my friends.
C'est pas le seul. J'ai perdu un autre ami, Jean-Pierre Roy, qui était là aussi. Ça fait que c'est tous de nos amis.
A town that seems suspended in a terrible nightmare is inching closer to its reality. But so privately. A small makeshift shrine is the only sign of collective grief, tucked behind a tree, as if not to intrude.
Quand je regarde ça, c'est juste comme, je peux pas réaliser encore que c'est arrivé. Ça juste clique pas. It's like a bad dream, and you can't come out of it, but it's happening in reality, so it's not a good feeling.
When we first met Megan Turcotte, she was still in shock. She has a picture of her beaming mom on her phone, taken just last week, when Megan graduated high school.
Je pense que je commence rien qu'à l'accepter, parce que c'est dur à accepter, c'est tellement subitement, c'est...
I think I'm starting to accept it, she says, but it's hard. It was so sudden. It wasn't supposed to happen. She wasn't supposed to die. No one was supposed to die there. Diane Bizier was a mother and a best friend to her 17-year-old daughter. Megan says they told each other they loved each other every day.
Ma vie, elle a changé à tout jamais. Il y a plein de choses qui vont changer à partir de maintenant.
My life has changed, she says. It's changed
Je
forever.
suis pas encore prête à
I wasn't ready to have her taken away. I still need my mom, but she won't be there anymore. It is an uncertain and dark road ahead in so many ways. Police are now holding daily meetings with family members of victims only, to give them the grim updates first. Many have been told already. Coroner's reports, death certificates may take weeks to come. Many funerals will be delayed until they do. For the Boulets, grasping like so many for the strength to simply go on. The goodbyes are just beginning.
Ioanna joins us now from Lac-Mégantic. Ioanna, powerful, powerful story. You mentioned that officials are meeting with families in private briefings. What exactly are they getting from these meetings?
What they're getting mostly, Mark, is the warning that answers will not be coming anytime soon. And the police are very reluctant to give anybody any sense of a concrete timetable. They're telling them it could be 15 days, it could be 30 days, it could be well beyond that. Now, in the absence of that kind of more specific, realistic timetable, families themselves are reluctant, it seems at this point anyway, to start planning memorial services or funerals. And we've been speaking to a local priest who's been shuttling around supporting families in their homes primarily, and he says he has nothing to plan. So what we do know, however, that this evening after today's meeting with the families, they all kind of gathered at a little chapel down the road next to the cemetery in town, where they held a kind of a private moment for the families, and they are still discussing a visit to the site so that some people, because some people have told us they have no interest in going, but for those who do, they might be able to get a closer look at the devastation.
Ioanna, it's never easy after people have lost so much to come by and ask them to tell their stories, and especially in a tight-knit community like this. How have you been received in Lac-Mégantic?
You know what's striking, Mark? We went to doorsteps of people who are basically coming to terms with the fact that they've lost daughters or husbands or children, and I was struck by how gracious they were. Some of them even thanked us for trying to come find them, for trying to tell their story. Many of them were not able to go on camera. We've spoken to so many people just privately at their doorsteps, for example. And it was really striking because there is an incredible amount of grace in this town under such tragic circumstances. And while this has made this story difficult to tell sometimes, it's been incredibly touching as well. Mark?
And heartbreaking. Ioanna, thanks so much.